channel. You know what time it is, No Press fam. Welcome all to another episode of The Beatdown, the segment where we take multitudes of characters from across many universes and have them battle it out. I am your gracious host, Class. And if you enjoy our content, share, like, subscribe, and become a No Press fan member. We put out new episodes every week. Also, if you want to learn about origins or abilities, check out our playlist titled Brief Origins or BAF. With introduction said, let's get down to the beating. In the May event 2024, we had crowned two new champions, Legion from Marvel Comics and the Beyonder, who also is from Marvel Comics. In May event 2025, the Beyonder had won it again. However, Legion was tied that year with DC Comics' own Doom Patrol Crazy Jane, leaving an incomplete champion result for that one. So, for our 5th year anniversary, we're going to give you guys a champion match. Triple threat match to be exact, but only one can come out on top. You, the voters, will get to decide through the comments down below in order to have our new champion ready for May event 2026. And maybe we'll have some other ways to have you guys vote in other areas. Joining me to make their points on behalf of their champion in 2024 May E, the champion himself, Mr. J, and 2024 and 2025 champ, Mass Debater. With introduction out of the way, here we go. I'll be representing, tied for in May 2024's champ, Doom Patrol's DC Comics own Crazy Jane. Now here are my arguments. Number 1, 64 different personalities that have yet to be discovered entirely through the comics and even through live action series. Statistically, Jane has had some pretty powerful characters on her roster, with a few minor exceptions, which means the others that have yet to be explored mathematically possesses powers of great essence, with a few minor ones. So for everyone with decent powers, you get 4 with some insane powers. I mention this because it should be known that her powers come with unpredictable capabilities, making Beyonder and Legion in trouble, as she has many opportunities for the element of surprise. One of her other powers could probably make copies of herself or shapeshift into someone, or even harness powers entirely. Her mysterious other personalities keep her opponents guessing and unable to count her out at all. Number 2, she had the ability to use the same power as the actual writers, meaning she could rewrite anything about Legion or the Beyonder. She can make Legion with one personality like David and no powers, and Beyonder a normal man as well. The possibilities are infinite. Grant Morrison, Doom Patrol Comics run displayed that, which means even if these two are a top tier above her with power and being able to wield it, she still has the insane power to change their power levels to whatever she sees fit. Okay? She can rewrite like a comic creator. Everything. So, yeah. That's crazy. She can, number 3, she can team up with Legion for the first go around to knock Beyonder off the chopping board. The two have been on teams before, and she works pretty well in one. She convinces David, aka Legion, to work with her on a greater threat. The two might have greater odds at defeating him. With the two joining forces, you have an army to take on compared to just two powerful beings. Army based on the fact that the two alone possess several powers. Combining those powers and the ability to switch those powers up in any moment notice makes both of them a deadly combination. They would have to keep pace and be done quickly for a true shot at success. Number 4, play a little cat and mouse and jump into another dimension with her flit personality. Beyonder might just keep his sights on Legion for a moment, allowing Jane to find a dimension that could help with Beyonder or ask her team to help defeat this guy. And trust me, the Doom Patrol isn't short of A-list characters. Or go even wilder and make a deal with one of her nemesis, and some of those guys can mess with reality, like Candlemaker or Mr. Nobody, I believe that's his name. She manages to either get one of those guys to help or get to borrow their powers for a time, assuming it's a possibility, given that they can mess with reality and everything in it. This temporary power might just be the fighting edge she needs to finish them both off. Number 5, and probably my final point, mental mind is a tricky thing at times, especially for David and Kay, as they both possess several personalities. But the key difference between the two is Jane's characters have more of a reaction time than Legion's. Legion can't always decide who comes out, and yes, neither can Kay, but her characters do come out at the right time with the right tools to take down their threats. This comes in handy when facing David. Wild card, Dr. Harrison comes out to play and does a quick diagnosis on Legion. There's a chance she might be able to manipulate without using too much of her influence powers to persuade Legion into focusing his fight solely on the Beyonder, giving her some time to examine what the Beyonder can do and then determine who to call upon from there, as it grants her time and knowledge. To sum it up, use her enemies as friends to gain more chances of winning. If not, team up with Legion until it becomes one-on-one. She has many other abilities to use that haven't come up that may very well have the potential to end either Legion or Beyonder. And last point is that she can rewrite the comics itself to change everything that makes Legion and the Beyonder special and make them human to claim victory and the official champion.
Mr. J, back on the channel to represent my guy who won the May event back in 224 champion match as well as Marvel Comics Legion. Here's my argument. He's traveled in time or the universe of the Beyonder, old school comics instead of a more powerful one. Old school Beyonder is still tough to put down, but the odds are more in David's favor with this one. Now with this feat, seems like a stretch, but when you factor in David, aka Legion's thousands of personalities, a power like that could be produced. On one end, traveling back before anything was rewritten in a new Marvel Comics era can be tricky, but if the timeline is consistent with somewhat of a new comic and sort of a connected through several threads of a way of theory still works. If old school Beyonder is still tied to new school Beyonder, David has a chance in swinging the fight to old school Beyonder's favor, which again challenging, but possibly opens up more both for him and Crazy Jane to exploit. He has shielded universe altering threats. He might just have the perfect defense against Beyonder, as if Beyonder perhaps attempts to wipe both opponents out completely. He might with Jane, but not with Legion. A defense like this should keep him in the fight the longest against the Beyonder, which in turn will allowing him to turn the tables at some point in the match. 3, he has way more personalities to go by than Jane. He can switch up to anything and eventually run out the clock with her, and the same can be said in a similar way about the Beyonder. Beyonder has power that go into godlike. This is true, but so does Legion, and this wouldn't be so one-sided with the two, which is what usually appears considering Beyonder is more powerful on his own. To take on the entire roster of the Avengers, X-Men, and even the baddies all at once, Legion would definitely keep up. And if he picks the right moment and the right persona. 4, produce enough energy for a mass blast. And a multiverse level scale, of course. It seems impossible. But when you consider Legion's 1,000 split personalities, the impossible starts to seem possible. Let's play a wild card for a moment here and say Legion enters his mind and gets his personalities to join together in unison, converging all their powers into Legion and using that as a blast. Hit Beyonder with that, and no way he doesn't go down. Not to mention the rules would definitely apply for Jane as well. 5. Harness the Beyonder's powers. Some might think a feat like that could end David. But again, he keeps evolving, new personalities. On the regular, each one processing a power like no other. Each power requires a lot of attention to keep track and use properly. Having a mind like that might be insane, but also means he might have what it takes to harness in half or possibly more of the Beyonder, and use that to his advantage to win this fight. If he harnesses Jane's personalities, perhaps Beyonder taking them into the underground, where her personalities reside, he could harness those ones and gain potential juice to lay the smackdown on the Beyonder and use the extra boost of characters to harness his power. To narrow down my point, harness the Beyonder's energy helps even the odds. Attempts to win his old school and counterpart, outpower Crazy Jane and get rid of her, and use one serious energy blast to use the Beyonder down for the count, thus officially being crowned champion.
How's it going, folks? Class here. I'm going to, in order to make this a little more engaging, I'm going to pretend to have the voice of the person who's supposed to be on the third channel here defending his argument, so bear with me. I am the masked debater, here representing my champion for this match, Marvel Comics own and Marvel Events 2024 champion, the Beyonder. Here are my arguments. Number 1, he can warp reality to anything he wants. Examples to go on. He can present them with real versions of their greatest fear or place them in a pocket dimension that conjures their worst fears. He can remove powers or make it as if they didn't remember how they used it. He can form a sort of construct mental block to their mind to be able to release the others of their powers, leaving them with just Jane and Legion as themselves to fight this godly being. He can summon an army of heroes or villains from both worlds to fight on his behalf, and then join the fight when he feels like it. We're talking Thor, Darkseid, Thanos, Superman, Hulk, Wonder Woman, Wonder Man, Scarlet Witch, Dr. Fate. The list is infinite. Legion and Jane are capable of holding their own, but a wave of them coming at you, it's definitely placing you on low juice after some time. And that's when Beyonder can seize his moment. Travel back in time and change the outcome of Jane and David. Have Charles never met David's mom, causing him not to exist. It has been somewhat done in the comics. With Jane, prevent the dramatic trauma her father placed on her and provide her a normal life, resulting in her future self with no powers. Prevent the trigger that activates David's power, or the one that activates Jane's. Time travel helps a lot in various circumstances. Have both fighters taken to the two separate dimensions and have them fight him individually. The two together, if joined forces, would prove to be a little tricky, but apart, it's beyond they're behind the wheel, shifting the fight to however he wants. For one-on-one with him is even harder to defeat than together. Last but the best argument is erasing all personalities from both parties in one quick swoop, rendering them helpless. Let me explain. The Beyonder has powers in the cosmic scales, being able to change the fabric of reality. His powers truly don't have any limits, only the ones he provides for himself. So he could easily walk into their mind and erase all of their personalities until it's just David and Kay left to fight for themselves, which will definitely be a one-sided fight. Another option is removing the personalities out of the body and placing them into a pocket dimension, or erasing them out of sight in an instance. To summarize, he can change reality at any time, remove their personalities out of the equation, bring a massive army with some serious muscle, and take them on solo and come out on top as champion. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. So, as always, it's not up to me. It's not up to my boy here. It's up to you guys. So, if you liked either one of our arguments, you know what you can do? You can hashtag Crazy Jane, or you can hashtag
Legion.
Or if I can't get the other guy in here, hashtag The Beyonder. And as always, No Purse Fan, we really appreciate you guys keeping it 900 subs. Peace. Shout out to all my content supporters. We're not working together, but we like to give credit where credit is due. Ivan the Unstoppable for all the knowledge of comic feats. Watch Mojo for origins and for all the background videos. Comic Historian, Comics Explained, and Key Issues. Go ahead and check them out and tap into the world of comics by supporting other creators. Link to channels will be in the description below.